That's great. You got a request for somebody to stay at your place. What is the next step? So this is great. You got a guest that's requesting to stay at your place. So you need to do a few things. You need to, number one, look and see if this is a guest you'd like to approve. And if it is, you hit accept. If it is a guest that you need some more information on, you can send them a message. It will message them through Airbnb. If you want to decline this guest, you can decline this guest. If you decline the guest, you have to put down the reason why you'd like to decline this guest. Maybe this guest doesn't work for you. Maybe it's too big of a party for you. But you need to put a reason in there for Airbnb, and then also as a courtesy to the guest, send them back a message and just tell them why you are declining their request. One thing that I do is I look at the details and look at the verifications they have. The verifications are their phone number, their email, if they've put in their ID or their license for Airbnb. So if I have all three of those verifications, I will almost always accept the request. If they don't have verified ID, I go back to the guest and message the guest and ask them to go to the verification area in Airbnb under settings and profile and put their license in there. Not that I see their license, but that Airbnb sees their license and will give them a star or a verification of ID by their name. And if they do that, then I will accept their request. Send the guest a message once you actually accept. So I'm going to show you some of the messages I send the guests, but we always send a message saying, thanks for choosing our place on your next stay in April or May or whenever it's going to be. Or I show you the messages that I send my guests. I wanted to kind of go through the three different types of requests that there actually are in Airbnb. The three different types of requests are if you set your booking up to instantly book, if they have verified ID, they have an email address, they have a phone number, they can book just like at a hotel. It just sends you a confirmation saying Joe is booking your place the weekend of the 3rd through the 6th. The second type of message was the one that we just went over, was a request for stay. So they're requesting, they've got all the information, they're ready to stay. Once you hit accept, it actually goes back and bills out the stay. The third type is a pre-approval. This is when the guest is simply asking a question, but in order to actually ask you a question, they need to put in some dates as if they were going to stay there. They can't just simply send you a message about your place. They have to put a fake date in there. So if you get that, basically what they're asking for probably is more information about your property without committing to actually booking. So those are the three types that you will receive: the Instabook, the request for booking, and the pre-approval. The pre-approval is much like the request for stay, except once you say, yes, I will pre-approve it, it doesn't automatically bill out. It actually gives them 24 hours to decide if they want to stay in your place. Let's go to my messages. Here is all my frequently sent messages to guests. I have a canned message here that simply says, sounds fun. We require all guests to have their verified ID, and how they load it through Airbnb. This is the message I send to every guest that I have responded to that I would like them to stay. So I have accepted their request for stay. I'm just simply saying, Thank you for choosing our place. We'll send you some more information later. Hey, stay with me till the end of the video and I will show you how my crypto did today. The next thing that I wanted to go over with you, and sometimes you'll have to remind your guest about this, is if a message comes back to you saying awaiting payment. So that means that you have accepted their request. They want to book, but they haven't filled out their credit card information either correctly, or it's got an expired credit card, or maybe there's nothing in there at all. So again, when it says awaiting payment, I always send a courtesy message back to the guest saying, it looks like Airbnb is looking for your most current payment information, and once they have that, you'll have a confirmed booking with our place. This is the email you get back from Airbnb once the payment is accepted. Confirmation, this guest has a confirmed stay at your Airbnb. So here's how the payment for Airbnb works. Let's say that the guest is staying in a couple of months. What happens is Airbnb bills it out right away and takes that money out of the guest's credit card or debit card, but they don't give it to you. They hold it in some type of an escrow account. We'll call it an escrow account. You don't receive payment until 24 hours after the guest stays. So sometimes when the guest is asking for a refund, they're asking you for a refund, but really you haven't received any payment yet if they haven't stayed there yet. It's all in this Airbnb escrow. And sometimes you actually have to tell your guests that if they're saying, hey, I want to get a refund. It's all done through Airbnb. One huge thing, I think it's really important to protect yourself and do not answer texts about your property outside of Airbnb. If somebody sends you a text because your phone number's on there, their phone number's on there, what I always like to do is say, hey, check the Airbnb message I just sent you about the check-in criteria or the updated code, and communicate that way just to protect yourself, because Airbnb can be a moderator if something happens. Something probably will never happen, but just protect yourself. Now that the guest has confirmed payment, it will say confirmed up in the details of their stay. So about a week before the guest stays, I send a message. It used to be 4 pages, but I know that the guests don't read it because they're always asking me questions. So I modified it. It's down to about a page, and it just lists some of the amenities of the property. It lists the check-in time and the checkout time very first at the very top, along with the access code to get in. I think it's very important that you have a smart lock, and I have a video down here on which is the best smart lock to get. This is a message I send the day before their vacation or their stay. Reminds them of the access code again, a few good places to eat, and also the check-in time. Very important. This is a message I send every guest the day after they check in to see if they have any questions. It just tells them where they can find extra towels, what the pool hours might be, where the bike trails might be. This will be different for your property, of course, but this is supposed to stimulate questions. And also, if the guests have any complaints, this is where you want them to bring them up so you can take care of them right away. Speaking of complaints, own the complaints. Say you're sorry. Identify what you can do to make it better. If it's a service person, let them know when the service person can be there. Over communicate if there's an issue, and the next day follow up and ask them if everything is okay about that issue. So those are some of the things I wish I knew 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago when we started out our Airbnb adventure. I did have to learn all these on my own. That's why I'm making this video, so you don't have to learn these all on your own. A few more frequently asked questions that I get from brand new hosts are, when we'll actually get paid. So 24 hours after the guest checks in, you'll get an email through Airbnb saying your payment will be there, and they give you an estimated date. So it's usually about 4 or 5 days after they send you the email. The next question is, what happens if the guest cancels before they check in? So it depends on your cancellation policy, so be sure to pay attention. You can choose whichever cancellation policy you want. Just be sure that you know which one you've chosen. If it's 5 days or before, my guests can get 100% refund. Like I said, I'm not giving them the refund because they've not stayed with me and they've not given me one dime. They get everything from that Airbnb escrow account. There are stricter policies and there are more lenient ones, but that's what I have. What about disputes? So if there's a dispute, if you message back and forth through Airbnb and you can't figure out a resolution, Airbnb will be a moderator and help you guys figure something out. I've sent the guests money if the cleaning wasn't done properly. I've sent some guests half a night's stay because the hot tub didn't work when they checked in. I've never had to ask the guests for extra money because we already charge $200 for cleaning. There is an area where you can ask the guest for more money. The last thing is to send the guests a review right away. Airbnb will send you a review, this guest, about 4 o'clock the day that they check out. I always like to fill it out within the first hour or two while it's fresh on my mind, after I know that the cleaners have been there already or if we've checked in on the property. So send that as quickly as possible. If the guest hasn't sent me a review within a few days, I just send them a message just asking them to send me a review, and it's really important for our business to get good reviews. So those are the most frequently asked questions, some of the things I wish I would have known. I appreciate you sticking around till the end of the video. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time. Hi guys, thank you for staying until the end of this video to find out how my crypto did today. So our beginning balance when we started filming was $42,656. As we wrapped up filming a few hours later, my balance is $44,267. So we made about $2,000 while I was sitting there filming today. That's great, you guys. There's not enough days like this. Thanks for watching to the end of my video again. See you next time on Everything Airbnb with me.